thing.
There we go.
There we go.
Shibuya roll call.
The link is tweeted.
Cool.
And let's get started. You guys ready?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Pixel Life. This is episode number 9, and we're dropping this one early because we simply cannot contain our excitement for these press conferences that just dropped today and technically one yesterday. So let's get started. We're just going to jump right into it. My name is Josh Faulkner. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. Sorry for this being on such short notice. We kind of just decided to do this tonight, primarily because if we did all of E3 in one episode, we would be here all damn night. Probably it'd be like a 4-hour-long episode. So we broke it off into 2 pieces, and this is part 1. So we are going to cover the EA Play. There you go, the little fist guy who did like a Kit Kat. So we're going to cover EA Play, which was yesterday. We're going to cover the Microsoft conference, which was the huge one today, and then Bethesda's just ended like an hour ago, and we're going to talk about that one as well. So in order to do that, we got Zach Anderson here. Hi, Zach.
Hi. How are you?
I'm wonderful, sir. How are you?
I'm quite excited after seeing today's press conferences. I think we got 2 amazing ones today.
So. Yeah, absolutely. We got Shannon Moore as well. Hi, Shannon.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you, sir?
Dude, I'm as pumped as Andrew WK was to play that.
It's time to party. Let's party.
He just kind of showed up. We'll get into it. So Elena couldn't make it tonight. Again, we dropped this kind of at the last minute, and she couldn't fit it into her evening. So unfortunately, she couldn't be here, but she will be back on Wednesday when we do part 2 of this.
I'm picturing her just shaking her fist at us in anger. You know?
Yes. How dare you
What's
guys?
Up?
Yeah. But we do have a very special guest. If you're watching this live, you probably already see him down there, so it's not much of a surprise. But the trifecta has come back together like Voltron and formed one mega. Where am I even going with this? I don't even know.
Basically, what we've done is we have created the Megazord, and Shannon is the Dragon Zord. And when they come together, it's like that super Megazord.
I like it.
Does that make Shannon the Green Ranger?
Yes.
Okay.
Or the White Ranger. I thought that was white.
Well, they did it twice. They did it both with the Green Ranger. They did it the Green Ranger and then the White Ranger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tommy was both, right?
Boom. Yes. And yes, I may have a dragon dagger in my den downstairs.
Okay.
Who can say? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't live here. Okay, I'm just here on the weekends.
So if you couldn't figure out by his voice, that is Robby Steltehpohl. Hi, Robbie.
What's up, guys?
Man, it's been a while.
Yeah, man. It's
There's a whole
Zach
thing
and I
here with you being a preacher and a prodigal son returning, and there's a whole thing. I feel like I could go down there.
Life's been busy, man. Life has been super busy. Between getting a new job as a youth pastor, been there for about 6 weeks, and trying to get ready for Be Great Baby 2018.
Yep.
We are, as of whenever it strikes midnight, we are officially 10 days away from induction day. If the baby don't come, if it's okay, Josh, I'll go ahead and get down to what else I've been doing.
Absolutely.
Me and buddy Matt Sattler, one of the listeners from when we were on the Gaming Outsider together. Him and I love talking about sports. We also like debating and arguing about sports. He likes being wrong a lot about sports, and so we decided to do a podcast together, and it's called Back to the Basics Sports Podcast. You can find it on literally, I believe, anywhere like that has podcasts. I don't think we're on iHeartRadio yet, so that's a lie. I lied. I just lied. And I don't think it's on Spotify, but like as far as iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, stuff like that. And we're 1 episode in. I just gave it a little test run, made some adjustments, and we're ready to record 2 episodes this week. And it's been really cool. I think I just want to say this because Zach and Josh, I know y'all mentioned this like in the first episode. Just to confirm, you were very adamant about offering me to come join you guys and be on the podcast with you. And I was super thankful for that opportunity, but just kind of realized that with craziness with the baby and stuff, but also just this burning passion to argue about sports had come upon me. And I really just kind of wanted to dive in that for a while. So yeah, we're super excited about it, and I've really enjoyed listening to you guys' episodes and watching y'all grow. Especially Elena and Shannon, you guys have gotten a lot better just over the course of a few weeks. So good job.
Thank you. Copious amounts of alcohol has also helped me with that.
Good call.
No, man, we definitely support your endeavors. So there was no hard feelings if you didn't want to hop on the show, but the door's always open. So if you ever get an urge or really want to talk about a game, man, just let us know, and you're welcome to hop on. I know our listeners would like it. So
I think we have a God of War spoiler cast episode that needs to be had.
we need. Yeah, Shannon and I have been talking about doing a Detroit Become Human one too, because we both finished that and we were antsy about discussing our differences in our game and stuff like that.
I'm actually in the middle of playing that right now.
How you feeling about it, real quick?
I'm a year and a half, or a year and a half. I'm an hour and a half, 2 hours in. It definitely has me engaged. I need time to just sit down and play, and that's what tomorrow's for. Since I asked off specifically for E3, so so I'll be playing a lot more tomorrow. So
get it out of the way soon, because once baby comes, all that time is gone.
That's true. I think that's probably one of the things. I don't know about you guys, but it seems like everybody and their mom has to keep reminding me that my life's going to change when I have a baby, as if I'm some kind of idiot.
You know what it is? No one thinks you're an idiot. That's not it at all. It's me that has the kid. I can't accept still to this day how much it's changed. Yeah. So it's one of those, like, because you honestly don't know until it happens. Until you're going through it, you don't know. And it's one of those
where I'm at, because I honestly had no idea how I'm not going to say how bad it was, but how time consuming a child is until it actually came. And I was like, whoa. Yeah. So, but it's awesome at the same time. So I don't want to scare you.
This isn't me being negative or anything. I just I swear every time I'm talking to someone or talking about what Lisa and I do, because Lisa and I love going to the movies or, playing video games, well, you're not gonna be able to do that when the baby comes. Well, no crap. Thanks. I'm fully aware. But Zach, I understand what you're saying. That makes sense. And look, I don't understand what it's like to have a kid, but dadgummit, in 10 days I will.
You sure will.
Yeah, you will.
No, it's awesome, man. You're going to trade some of your freedom for it, but it's worth it. It really is, because it's a pretty awesome experience. But just work as a team. That's what me and my wife do. If I want to go see a movie, she watches a kid, and I go see the movie. If she wants to go out with some friends, I stay home with the kid, and she goes out. You just got to work as a team, and you make it work. It's fine.
Yeah.
So absolutely,
tag team champs, as Lisa and I like to say.
Exactly.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go through some housekeeping real quick just before we get started. Follow us on Twitter at @ThatPixelLife. I'm back on Twitter now. After our departure from our last podcast, I kind of went on a social media hiatus for a while, and I deleted my Twitter account, and I didn't really want anything to do with it. And now I'm finally in a good space where I feel like I'm ready to go back into social media. So I am back on Twitter now at JD Falky on Twitter. So if you want to catch me there, you can find me on Twitter again.
That explains why I couldn't find you.
Yep. That's the story for another day. Anyways, you can subscribe to us on YouTube. We're on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Pocket Cast. We're on all that stuff. You can also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/thatpixellife. If you want to help us out and keep the show going, that's the place to do it. You get some cool incentives for doing so. You can also find us on iTunes, and if you don't mind dropping some reviews for us, that would be awesome. Robbie just told you all about Back to the Basics podcast, so definitely make sure you guys hop on iTunes, check that podcast out, and leave them some reviews as well. I'm sure he would very much appreciate it.
Very much appreciate that.
Totally. So let's get right into it, guys. We're going to start with EA Play. Now, this one wasn't very long, so we'll just kind of go through everything they announced, and then we can all kind of go around and kind of give our summary about how we thought about this show. So they opened it with Battlefield 5, and they didn't really show a whole lot. They showed a bit of gameplay from the multiplayer. They didn't show any of the single player, and they announced a battle royale mode, and everyone booed. So do you guys have anything you want to say about Battlefield 5 at EA Play?
No.
Well, for me, I think it's ironic that it was named EA Play when there wasn't one game that showed gameplay that they announced or showed this press conference.
There was a few, but
nothing that counted. Like, but and also I found the reaction to people booing Battle Royale incredibly curious. Like, if there was anything to take away from this press conference, it may be that the gaming industry as a whole has grossly misread the room. that this is a thing that people want, and so and I don't know if it's just like the over cynical game media and social media presence of gamers that is just a huge vocal tiny little slice of the pie that is reacting this way, or is it more indicative of people like myself that are like, here comes the onslaught of Battle Royale modes.
You can join me on my soapbox and holding up that sign saying the end is coming.
Okay, so as someone who plays a crap ton of Fortnite,
sure,
as do I am hooked on that game, by the way.
Yeah, I love Fortnite. I can honestly tell you, me and my buddies, 2 or 3 guys that play together constantly, we have probably played on average 5 nights a week since November. And it may not be for hours on end. It may just be a couple matches here or there, but we play almost every day. I thought Battlefield would be the perfect shooter to bring in this, because in a way, in a lot of ways, it was kind of already like Battle Royale, just more team based or big group teams based. And the size of it, the scope of it already made sense to do Battle Royale. And so to have some of that release being kind of negative, it's kind of like, man, is just Fortnite going to Fortnite and PUBG just going to dominate this realm, or because honestly, the average gamer or the guy who buys Call of Duty and Battlefield every year, maybe they're not the people that want Battle Royale games. Maybe they're just not. I was Zach, I will say that I was very surprised by that reaction as well.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm kind of curious about all these Battle Royale modes. I mean, I've played just about every single one of them that's out now. And I mean, some of them are better than others, but I don't mind it. But I know that this industry loves to jump on trends and just kind of run it till the wheels fall off. And it seems like gamers are kind of trying to put a stop to this stuff before it gets too out of hand, because we're already seeing it with loot boxes. You notice how everyone is sort of like a high ticket thing to mention in your press conference now. It doesn't have loot boxes, and this is only 2 years that we've had games with loot boxes now. So it's like these gamers just putting a stop to this stuff right before the trend gets too out of hand. I feel like that's what's kind of going on with this.
And guess who ran that one into the ground? EA.
No, I did. By the way, I found it hilarious that they're like, and no loot boxes, but you will with the Ultra Edition have 20 airlifts that give you random items. I'm like, bro, you just renamed loot box. Like, okay, yes, technically they're not loot boxes, but they're do the same thing. Like, whatever. Yeah, sure.
I mean, I don't know if y'all remember, but I think it was one of the last episodes that we did together of the Gaming Outsider. I said, you don't want the government in your games.
Yeah.
And look what's happened. Like, there's been a complete backlash with all these loot boxes, and I think rightfully so in a lot of ways. Also, I'm sorry to notice. I just want to notice this. Zach, are those headphones the ones that we got last year from E3?
Yeah, the ones you're wearing too.
Dude, I'm wearing these too, man. Look at that.
I was wearing them too until I just swapped them out.
Twinsies.
They're comfortable as hell, bro.
They are. They're very good. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine. So yeah, I mean that was kind of interesting. That was the big takeaway was people booing at a Battle Royale mode. But this is not a big shocker. Everyone's kind of implementing those now. And I guarantee you, we're only halfway through the press conferences, and we'll see more of these. So not going to be surprised if we see a few more pop up. Next off, they moved on to FIFA 19. I completely spaced out here. Robbie, did you see any of this and can communicate with us what the hell's going on with FIFA?
Robbie, translate for me.
Yes, please.
The probably the biggest thing and the best thing about it is that FIFA has gotten the rights back to the UEFA, which means the Champions League can come over, which just basically means this. All the league teams in Europe, they play in a tournament throughout the course of the year every year, and it's almost like a mini World Cup every year, and it's a really big deal. But PES, Pro Evolution Soccer, has had it for God knows how long, and so now FIFA has it back. And so that just means that there's another game mode that they can add to their arsenal of FIFA, this unstoppable force, which is FIFA. But other than that, no, I don't care. Like, they spent way too much time on it, but apparently, like, this is their highest selling game, so it makes sense why they spent so long. But I'm a FIFA guy, and I'm still kind of just tired every year of let's bring out a player, let's bring out the cup. Like, not a freaking person in the room cares about that daggone cup.
Especially gamers. I mean, there's some gamers that do, but I think the mass majority of them don't want to sit and watch all the sports content.
No, I love sports games, and I just didn't care about it. Like, I wanted EA to get to other stuff that they never got to, but we'll get there in a moment. So.
Awesome. So next up, EA Origin Access Premier is a service that they announced, which is basically Game Pass with EA games. So they have Origin Access already, which is like $5 a month, and you get access to the Vault, same as EA Access, but on PC. Now they're having a service where you can pay $15 a month, and all their brand new games are there day one for you to play in the service. So it's basically Game Pass for EA games.
It's also just PC, right?
Yes, as of right now, it's just PC. Maybe if it's successful, they'll roll it over to consoles. I know PS4 still doesn't have EA access, so it's only on Xbox One. But yeah, that's the service that they're doing. Apparently, they're stealing Xbox's thunder there with the Game Pass and kind of doing their own version of it. So
I think actually, what you mark the date and time, this is when the model for video games officially started changing. Video games are going to become TV. You're going to sign up to 4 or 5 different services that you pay a monthly fee for to get all the content you want. You are going to stop buying discs. We're just going to download stuff. Microsoft solved the problem, and EA is the next one in line. Like, this is coming. This is happening. Like, it will not shock me at all if the next generation of consoles doesn't even have disc drives. Like, it's just going to be services to download your games.
Yeah,
because I'll tell you right now, after today, Game Pass is the best deal going on in gaming right now. It is. If you're an Xbox gamer or a PC player, it's rock solid. It's worth every penny compared to buying everything piecemeal.
But still, if you have a crappy internet connection, I mean, like, that's going to hamper your gaming.
Shannon, that's ultimately. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, because I want to hear your rebuttal to this as well. I think that ultimately will be what does not take the disk drives out yet, because there is not high quality internet all over the country yet enough to where it can sustain that. Like we don't, like, I'm in Georgia, podunk, trailer trash, but like I have decent internet where I'm at, but I live 30 minutes north of Atlanta. My brothers who live down in Valdosta, 10 minutes above the Florida line, they have horrible garbage internet. Like, my brother talks about all the time, like, how long it takes him to download something from his PS4 or stream something from his PS4. And so it's hard for me to see those go away. With that said, if EA can offer this Game Pass and give games that people actually want to play, like I know that you have it on the list to talk about later, but Madden 19 coming to PC is a really big deal.
Very big.
Yeah.
Very big.
It used to be on PC back in the day, but then they stopped. And
if I don't have to pay $60 for FIFA, I mean, or for FIFA or for Madden, but I can
NHL or NBA, or
NHL, but I can play it on my PC and still play with people on their consoles. Like, I'm just saying, if that ever comes about, like, man, I will never buy another physical disc.
Yeah, why would you? When everyone was like, it solves the you're just buying a roster update problem.
Yes, it does.
You know what? You're right, and I pay $15 a month.
I don't understand why Madden hasn't already went to a subscription service. Why don't you just pay $10 a month to play the game, and then the new Madden is just integrated into it automatically?
Look, Zach, the guy who doesn't know much about sports has the question everyone's been freaking asking for 6 years. No, you're right, Zach. Josh.
And I think the answer to that, Josh, is they were waiting. And they were waiting to offer up. They wanted to be able to offer more than just Madden at a higher price, like that.
Yeah, And I know a lot of big football fans that they will only buy like one Madden game a generation, or maybe two at the most.
I didn't buy last year's, so
Yeah. So
the single player story in that one was great though. Like
that's what I heard.
It really was. Yeah, but just getting back to what about people that don't have slow internet? That sucks, and I'm sorry, but you're getting less and less every year, and you're mattering as a consumer less and less every year. And that's the cold hard reality, and it sucks to hear, and I apologize. I'm sorry. I feel bad for you, but companies are going to stop making decisions based on your needs. They already are, and it's just going to get worse as time goes on.
Yeah, it's all numbers. Once the numbers hit big enough to where that's where the gist of the business comes from, that's where they're going to cater to.
I thought this was incredibly eye-opening. This is the Hulu to Microsoft's Netflix. This is the next big chunk, and it's coming. It will not shock me at all if we see Sony's in the next calendar year.
Shoot, we may see a Sony announcement about this kind of stuff tomorrow.
Yep.
And honestly, like I know we'll probably end with some kind of like prediction or statement about Sony, but like because of the statements Xbox and EA made about their Game Pass type thing, Sony almost has to, right?
Yeah.
Like your hand's almost forced. Like
the thing, and we're muddying it up because we'll get to this in Xbox, but the thing that made it crystal clear is when the next console comes out, Microsoft is going to have every single duck in a row. All of the stuff they're doing right now is to set up for the next console.
They're thinking ahead 100% right now.
All of these services.
And they even said they're bringing a new console. Yeah. Like they're working on it now.
All of these services, they're going to roll right into, I hope it's Xbox 2, TOO. And they're going to roll right into it, and it's just going to hit, and it's going to all be set up, and you're just going to go. And Sony better be ready for that. Because to use a sports metaphor, Robbie, it'll be someone running. It'll be Canadian football. They'll be, optioning running forward towards the line of scrimmage when they snap the ball.
I have no idea what you just said, but okay.
Trust me, it means.
Anyways, let's move on. So very awkwardly, Respawn announced a new Star Wars game. That was a very awkward encounter between Vince and Andrea Renee. It was it felt like it wasn't very scripted, and it was kind of awkward. Anyways, so Vince Vampella, I think I can't get his name right. He basically announced a new Star Wars game called Jedi Fallen Order. It's coming holiday 2019. It's between episodes 3 and 4 in the lore, and you play as a Jedi. That's all we know. There was no trailer. There was no screenshots. There was nothing. That was the only information they gave us.
And that's one of those. Great. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for letting me know Respawn is doing something. I don't care until I see something.
Yeah.
I mean, I have freaking Jedi Council symbol tattooed on my body, so of course it's got me excited. It not only because I've wanted a single player.
Nice clarification.
I didn't want solo. I didn't want. I've wanted a single player Jedi focused game since KOTOR 1 and 2. But what excited me, dude, I love Obi-Wan. I love that game so much. But I think what excited me most is that Respawn is making it.
Yeah.
And after Titanfall 1 and 2, I'm not saying like they have a get out of jail free card for anything and everything, but it's pretty darn close. Like I'm probably going to play anything they make because they make like EA let Titanfall out to dry and let it die because of where they placed it to release. But that game was awesome, and that might have been the best shooter of that year. And
Titanfall 2 was amazing.
That single player campaign is still one of the best shooters of this generation.
That time travel level, bro.
Yep.
So freaking good.
Man, now I want to go play that again.
Yeah. Play it on PC.
It broke my mind, dude.
Josh, play that junk on PC, bro. It's
they have it. They enhanced it for Xbox One X. It's in 4K and stuff now, and I haven't even played that yet in 4K. So I need to go back to that.
With that said, Zach's right. Like we'll believe it when we see it. I think I just trust Respawn a little bit better than I trust the overall blanket of EA. Like it's almost like Respawn's over here and EA's here, and like I trust them. And so, but I think the disappointing thing is that I guess this is what they had to make because of what happened with Visceral.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. I just hope they don't fall in the pile of bodies with Visceral if this game doesn't work out for them. So, anyways, moving on, more Star Wars. They had the poor bastard that came up for Battlefront 2 that basically had to apologize for their wrongdoings. Came up and announced some new squad modes for Battlefront 2, and they're adding Clone Wars DLC that will have new heroes, including Anakin, Obi-Wan, General Grievous, Count Dooku, all that shebang, which is something people have been asking for a while with that series. And so that's coming out this year as well. Does anyone still care about that at all, though? I know I don't.
When the game's like $10, I'll buy it so I can play as Obi-Wan Kenobi. But but other than that, just do not care.
Yeah, I think that boat kind of sank.
And what was it with them recycling the same footage? Like, I mean, like they had a really long like conversation, and they kept showing the same. Like, I must have seen Han Solo's pull out that blaster maybe like 4 or 5 times through that conversation. Like, it made me like lose interest in any momentum they had going into that segment. Like, I just lost me. I was just like, whatever. And that wasn't the only time they did it in the conference. They reused footage multiple times. I was just wondering, do they just not have enough footage to stream together for the conference? Like, was this last minute they decided to do this? Like, where's your head at? Like, you got to keep it fresh the whole time. People don't want to keep staring at the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, it's kind of patchwork of video footage.
Yeah.
So the next game that they unveiled was Unravel 2. This game shadow dropped like right on us. It's out now. You can go buy it right now for $20. This is a sequel to Unravel. I actually really liked the first Unravel game. This one's a full co-op game, so you can play with 2 players. There's 2 little yarny dudes now. No online co-op though, which is a bummer, but it's got couch co-op and everything, and you can play the game by yourself and control both of them on your own if you want to. The game looks really cool. I'm not like rushing to go out and play it or anything, but it was nice that they kind of dropped that on us right now. And the guy that presented the game, you can tell, was very passionate about his craft.
I remember when he presented Unravel for the first time, like the original one, and I just walked away saying, like, that game may not be for me, but I almost want to buy it just to support him. Like, 'cause he was just so passionate about it. Like, it was really cool.
Yeah, super genuine guy. So, but yeah, that's available for any fans of the original game. Again, I was a fan of the original game, but I think the co-op kind of throws me off a bit, especially if you can't play it online with a friend. So that's kind of a bummer. But the next game that was announced was Sea of Solitude, and this is from a German developer called Joe May. It's a game that's theme is surrounded around loneliness. And this is another presenter that was extremely passionate about this game, about developing it. And it's sort of like an adventure game, it looks like, where sort of another game, sort of like Hellblade, where they're just kind of exploring the human condition in some kind of like fantasy setting. So it reminded me of that Submerged game that we played several years ago, where it was kind of like in a sunken city and you're on a boat and stuff like that. It was kind of like that. The game had
I got those vibes too, for sure.
Yeah, it had like sort of a cartoony, but like somewhat kind of horror vibe to it. It had some freaky stuff in it a little bit there too. And that game's coming next year, and it looked pretty interesting. Anybody else sold on this one at all?
Nah, I mean, we'll see what it plays like when it gets out. But it's another one of those games where it just, they announced it and I didn't see anything. Like, I got a bunch of abstract ideas, and I got, it might look like this. It might play like that. It might do it. Okay, I'll talk to me when it's actually a thing that we can talk about. It's because right now it looks intriguing, sure, and it's something I'll at least pay attention to when they tell me about it later.
Yeah,
but right now I just whatever. If it ever comes out,
basically I feel about this like I do the overall EA conference. Like,
yes,
shrugging shoulders.
Like.
That's
okay,
that's perfect. That's perfect.
Have you? Yeah. And we'll get to Anthem in a second, but like, I don't know if I've ever really experienced more of a tone deaf conference than I did with EA yesterday. Just the way they presented Anthem, I think, is probably the biggest telltale sign. Like, they spend all this time having awkward conversations with developers and people who are talking about the game and trying to sell us on it. Like, the way you sell us on games is not like you don't talk first, you show first, and then you talk, and then you break. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's like they're not presenting this to the gaming community. It's like they're presenting it to investors.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a great way to put it, Josh. Like, they just felt so out of place. They felt like Nintendo. Like, and I'm talking about a couple years ago, Nintendo. Now Nintendo is just rocking on all cylinders. But just EA man, they just suck.
Okay, so you saying that because you're going into Anthem here, and we're going to get right to it because they showed NBA Live 19. It was just a trailer. They really didn't say anything about it, so we can scoot past that. They had Madden 19, which we already talked about. They brought some championship kid that looked like a douchebag on stage. They had a Command and Conquer Rivals game, which they popped up with Command and Conquer and about pooped my pants, and then it was just a stupid mobile game.
Yeah, can you stop talking about this? Actually, that one ripped my heart out.
Yes, right, Zach. Yeah, I was like, can you just remake Red Alert 2? Can you just remake Red Alert 2? Just give me that game on a console.
Actually, you know what? Just remake that opening movie in 4K. Like, just give me that opening movie. That's all I really want. With the like, like, just give me that whole thing.
Look, I want
it was Metallica, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
I want to build a base with nothing but plasma towers all around my base, and I want to fry Nazis, and I want to fry Russians. Just let me do that.
and have Tanya running around.
That's right.
Like, yeah, just let's do this.
And but again, tone deaf, don't really understand what gamers really want. Like, that's fine if you're making an RTS on a mobile, that's cool. But it just looked like Clash Royale. Like, it didn't even look like an actual RTS.
That's exactly what I put in the notes here. Like, it just looks like Clash Royale.
Oh, you did. You did put that. That's
absolutely. True. And they had these annoying commentators that were like mimicking a esports game, and it went way too long, and everyone was just spacing out. And you can tell. I was just following Twitter at the time, and everyone's just like, "Come on, let's go, move."
Didn't everyone learn from Darwin Project last year? Like, that fake. Fake sports announcer banter thing just is painful. It doesn't work.
Yeah, we don't care about that. So anyways, let's go right to Anthem. This is the last thing that they showed, and this is coming in February of next year. They announced that there's 4 different classes. They said no loot boxes, but there will be cosmetic microtransactions. They did mention that the game was going to be tough for solo players too, and that's when I kind of checked out.
I was really bummed out. Like, the game looks incredible. The gameplay looks great.
That frame rate was rough.
Yeah.
That
frame rate was
jukey. But ultimately, like, it looks like Iron Man meets Destiny. And like, when I want a BioWare game, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for story. I'm looking for world. And they swear they have that.
Sex with aliens.
Well, they took all the romantic part out. They said there is no romantic parts in this game.
Yeah, so we can't bang aliens in this one, unfortunately.
No, cannot. But I think I'm excited for the gameplay just because it looked really cool. But I'm really just kind of disappointed because, again, the story is what I care most about with BioWare. And, you know, if this is just a cash grab to bank on the Destiny and Division type stuff, I'm just going to put BioWare like on the side and be like, well, you know, what are you going to do for me now? Because Mass Effect Andromeda was kind of a letdown. And now you're showing me this, which is supposed to be some big new franchise. But like, tell me, guys, some of that gameplay didn't look just like Destiny.
Oh no, it did. And like, you know, for somebody who's put a lot of hours into Destiny, I found that to be mildly irritating. But I do like the 15% that's not Destiny, you know, like where you can get into your own, where your abilities are tied to the mech, not
like
to your person.
Diving into the water looked dope.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, like, yeah, using your jets to fly around instead of having to walk everywhere, that's great. But yeah,
being able to change mechs between missions, I thought is really
Yeah.
cool. So you're not like
Yeah.
stuck in a class.
They had a
like
lime green robot.
Yeah,
Josh
and
is sold.
yeah, I mean, but the fact, I don't know, there's small minor differences, like the fact that you can have 4 people in your team instead of 3. The fact that you can change the abilities on the fly like that, so you're not tied to one class. The flying, the water travel. I mean, that's like all new stuff that keeps it.
It's quality
fresh.
of life stuff.
Yeah, but how long is that going to be enough to keep the average player entertained and not feeling like it's a Destiny clone? That's the longevity is my concern. I'm interested in it. I want to play it, but I don't know if it's going to be one of those day one purchases for me.
And look, they have what, 3 other conferences or 3 other events to sell me on it before March of next year. They have they have Tokyo Game Show, they have Gamescom, and they have the Game Awards. And so, like, there's still time, but just a 4-minute trailer after just nodding off, listening to these people talk about stuff, and then showing me concept art. Why are you showing me concept art when this game is supposed to come out early next year?
Yeah.
Like I feel very Mass Effect Andromeda about this, and I'm not talking about like the quality of the game. I'm talking about it's going to get pushed back. Like I don't.
I do not believe they make that date at
all. No. I mean,
no.
Did you see the way that, I mean, like when that one monster popped up on the screen and you could noticeably noticeably see the frame rate drop? I was like, whoa, what happens when you have more than one enemy on the screen? That's just going to be ridiculous. Like, I hope they fix those mechanics now.
Here's the scary thing. Go watch last year's E3 trailer that they showed us. A lot of it looks the exact same.
Oh, yeah. And I think they'll have a beta. I think the beta will be a disaster, and they will go back and they'll push it back.
Push it back 6 months?
Yeah.
And here's the last thing I'll say about Anthem is
I want to like it. I will say that because Zach, you and I specifically walked out of E3 last year out of the Xbox conference, and we said, "Dude, Anthem sounds like what I wanted from Destiny all along."
Yeah, that's what I said. I walked out of there saying they made good Destiny.
Yeah.
Like they made good Destiny, and that's awesome. And you know what? There's still a market for good Destiny. Like, and that's the thing is, EA has a blueprint in front of them. They've got a list of issues that Destiny has. They have teams of people to fix these issues in this new game and provide a product that there is a out demand for. My issue is, why is BioWare making it? Like, why? Why
is it Respawn making it?
Yeah, like, come on. There's better people in EA to handle this project to make competitive shooters. Put DICE on it. Someone like
put Battlefield on hiatus and let them make Anthem.
Yeah, it's just to kind of piggyback off what Robby was saying. I'm not gonna get the product I personally want from this team. I'm getting the product that EA sees that fills the market, and it just kind of bums me out. Yep. It might be a great game. I might end up playing the hell out of it. I don't even know, but it just the idea of it bums me out a little.
That's my anticipation for this really dropped. It just didn't really. I played a lot of both Destiny 1 and 2, and I'm just not really looking for that kind of game right now. And when they said that the game can be played by yourself, but it's very hard for you to succeed by yourself, I kind of lost interest there because I played a lot of the first 2 Destiny games solo, and you can totally play that game to the end by yourself. You just can't raid, but you can play that game see its whole story through by yourself, and it's not hard at all. This game, if I can't do that, that's going to be a problem for me because I have a kid and I have a career and I have a hard time coordinating games with people, and I can't always play with a big group of friends. So if I just want to hop in and play some missions and I can't do that, I'm going to constantly die because I don't have 3 other people with me. That I'm just going to put it away and never touch it again. Yeah. So they're going to have to prove to me that this game is friendly for people just to hop in and out of without having an entourage with them, or I'm not interested. That's it for me. So
I'm with you.
So overall, guys, let's go around the room and just go ahead and just summarize it. Like, what did you think about EA? We'll start with you, Robbie. What would you give them score-wise? Your silence probably says enough.
I would say a D, but only because of the Respawn making a Jedi game and the Champions League stuff for FIFA. Like, I can't tell you a single other thing that came from that conference where I was like, man, that looks cool. You know, I think they're tone deaf. I think their presentation was boring as crap. I'm so sick of seeing Homeboy, who the director of FIFA, come out there in his accent and just talk. I just was so disappointed by EA's conference, and this should have been the year. Like, we'll talk about Bethesda in a minute, but they should have pulled a Bethesda and said, like, hey, we know you've been wanting KOTOR. We know you've been wanting we know you've been wanting this, so we're going to make it for you. It's almost like they don't care about what we want. They only want to make games. They only want to make games to where they can get extra stuff out of us. And that's just really frustrating.
Everyone's been clamoring for a new Skate, I noticed. Like, going into E3, everyone's like, all right, this is the year they're going to say Skate 4, and it just never happened. It's like the games that people are asking for, they're not making. And that's unfortunate. For me, like, I think that this conference for them was better than last year's. I think Andrea Renee did good with the material she had. She was much better than those stupid YouTubers they pulled up last year that kept screwing up the speeches and everything. They didn't spend way too much time on sports titles. I mean, they did have a lot of sports stuff in here, but they didn't like go on and on and on forever with them. I feel like it was paced fairly well. I feel like it was an improvement over last year, but still there just wasn't any meaty content in here. There was nothing that was like, oh, wow, I can't wait to play that. Everything that they announced at this conference and they showed, like, I don't care if I ever play. I will probably check out Battlefield at some point, but otherwise, like, I just don't really care about any of this stuff. Shannon, what about you?
Yeah, I think with me, I watched this in fast forward until they got to Unravel, and then I fast forwarded until they got to Anthem, and that's pretty much where I left it. So if I had to give them an overall rating, they did nothing to pull me in. I'd give them an F. I'm done. I'm done with it.
Wow, Zach, what about you, man?
Well, I'm not as down on it as you guys are, despite of what everything I might have said. EA's approach of this is for a very different reason than a Microsoft or a Sony. They are speaking to investors. They're showing the investors the products that are going to make their investors money, and they're showing them the systems that they're using. My issue, I don't understand why they have a conference. I do not understand why EA Play exists. This should be a Nintendo Treehouse type deal.
Like Activision. Activision just shoehorns their stuff in the other press conferences.
Yeah. You do a couple live things, but like, this has to cost them a fortune to set up, to promote, to get out there, to fly people out there, to set up demos, all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. That has to just cost so much money. And they could do this all in-house on a Treehouse forum type thing and probably get the same results. It just seems like a weird expenditure of time and resources to me for very little return. Because you're right, they don't have the next Skate, they don't have the return of Dead Space, they don't have fill in the old EA title they don't make anymore. They've got Madden, FIFA, all the games.
I just think this year was more of a kind of like an apologetic for them. Like they kind of had to go out to save face for how they screwed the pooch last year, or with the Battlefront. So I think this one was just kind of showing some good faith.
Sure. And to that end, though, if it would have come out with like, hey, yeah, we screwed up, and by the way, here's some footage of Respawn's game, and by the way, here is
shit. They didn't even have a title. They didn't even have a title card for the Jedi. The Jedi game, like,
because it's on a dry erase board somewhere, and they're down the name, and that's pretty much it.
It didn't help that Vince Lampella, it sounded like he was pitching a game.
Yeah, and he had that deer in the headlights.
Is Jedi Fallen Order ?
Yeah, it's like, okay, so look, it's it's called Jedi Fallen Order, right? And it's going to take place between 3 and 4, but episodes 3 and episodes 4, right. Some things are happening. Order 66. So you're a Jedi. Sure, you're a Jedi, and people are coming to kill you. So you need to. We'll make this first person. Sure, yeah, okay.
I love your pause.
It was totally that kind of tone where I'm like, is he making this all up?
And he even said during that interview, like, yeah, I just got the green light from Lucas that we can put it between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Like, you just found out, like,
I
yesterday.
forgot he said that. Oh, my gosh.
I'm serious. It sounded like he was making it up as he was going along. It was so weird.
It was like me trying to pitch. It was like, honestly, it was like me trying to pitch E3, going on the trip to E3 to Lisa last year. I was like, so sweetie, here's what's going to happen. Okay. So our podcast, that you don't listen to, but you let me talk once a week on. Yeah. We got free passes to E3. Oh, what's E3? So it's this like big video game thing in LA. And so the guys want me to go with them. Maybe can I? It really just seemed like he was very unsure of the product. And look, that may just be him. That may just have been the person talking about it, but it really just did seem very unsure. Again, I'm just banking on who they are as a developer. But Zach, you're right, Zach. They did what they had to do for the shareholders.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I feel like a shareholder. Like I've been buying EA games even when I didn't own a console. Like even when I didn't own a console, I still bought Madden. I still bought Madden 2002 and NCAA 2002. Like I bought those games so I could play them at friends' houses. Like, where's the EA that I loved? And I think that's what, we've talked about this for years, but I think that's just where I'm at right now, where I'm just really disappointed who they are as a company. And they've even ruined BioWare. And BioWare was the golden child to me. Like they could do no wrong.
Yeah, where's the EA that gave us Freedom Fighters? Where's the EA that gave us Black? Where's the EA that gave us Def Jam Vendetta? Like where's that EA? That's what I want.
The fact that you just mentioned Black, Josh, I just want to hug you. Like
you can play it on Xbox One, by the way.
The original Modern Warfare.
Yep.
Well, that company lost a bunch of money.
Yep.
And then they got real conservative, and then they got real safe, and they stopped taking chances. And then they tried to take chances again, and no one bought that shit.
Well, isn't it true the mother company for EA is like some kind of like soap company or some kind of distribution company? Like they're incredibly.
I'm not necessarily sure on that. I'm pretty sure EA is like kind of their own.
Oh, yeah, I thought they were always their own thing.
I heard on some podcasts like where they came from, like where they derived from, is some kind of like has nothing to do with video games, and they kind of just jumped in.
You mean like way back when? Like
yeah.
Like
where
Nintendo with like playing cards kind of thing?
Yeah, and look, I could be talking my butt. I could have been hearing them incorrectly, but I'm going to look that up so there's no dead air. You can move on.
Okay, so let's move on to Microsoft here. So there is a lot of stuff in here. So we're not going to go over every single thing. We're just going to kind of go around the table and mention what we thought stood out to us the most. So I'm going to start this off because the one game that I was highly anticipating this E3, probably the number one game, was the new From Software game. And all we knew was that they were referring to it as Shadows Die Twice. It was revealed, very, very small little teaser at the Game Awards, and everyone's been trying to guess what this game is. People were hoping it was Bloodborne 2. People were wanting it to be like a return of like what was that game for the Xbox? Otogi. Like they're just thinking of anything that From Software has made in the past and just throw it out there.
People were hoping it was like an Onimusha type of deal. Like there's all kinds of stuff.
Tenchu was thrown out there. Kuon was thrown out there. All kinds.
Speaking of that, Metal Wolf Chaos XD got announced for later this year.
Yeah, and they made that too. Yep.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Yep.
Interesting.
So they finally revealed this game, and it was at the Xbox conference, and I was not expecting it. I figured this would have been at Sony's.
I was really surprised that it wasn't at Sony. Yeah.
Yeah, because they've had a more bigger partnership with Sony recently than they have anyone. But this game is being published by Activision, surprisingly. It's being directed by Miyazaki, the guy who's the godfather of Dark Souls. He made all of their best games. So it's not Bloodborne 2. It's not any of those games that anyone tried to guess. The game is called Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. It looks very much like a Dark Souls game to me. It's set in like a feudal Japan setting, kind of Neo-ish in a way. There's a grappling hook like function or mechanic there. Your arm can transform into different things, sort of like trick weapons in Bloodborne. They said that the game was very focused on single player, and I don't think there's any summoning or invading or anything like that. They're sticking with the very difficult yet rewarding gameplay here, and it looks pretty rad. Now, I don't know how I feel about, the lack of summoning and stuff like that, because these games are so difficult. I felt like that functionality will help people get through them. But at the same time, this looked fresh from them. It looked like something they haven't made, because they're used to making these like kind of gothic horror games and stuff. And this looked very much the opposite, but it still looks like it plays like a Dark Souls game. So I am super pumped for this. Is anyone else excited for this game?
No, I am not a fan of any of those types of games. I just recently got Bloodborne off of the PlayStation. Was it the PlayStation Plus? I think I maybe put in an hour to it and was so frustrated by the end of that hour that the only thing that I walked away with from that is these are not my types of games. So it's unfortunate. It looks great. It's just not my. It doesn't look like it's going to be a cup of tea for me.
All right.
I'm super stoked for it. Like the thing I liked about it is there were you can see there were building blocks from Bloodborne in there, but the gameplay and some of the mechanics just increased the speed of it so much. Like the game looked way less deliberate than a Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Yeah, it seemed to really lean into the ninja aspect of it, with some of the traversal, the grappling hook, the weapon choices and things of that nature that showed up in the trailer. I'm definitely in on this one. It looks like the step forward that I think that series needs. So yeah. Awesome.
What about you, Robbie? You interested in this one?
Yeah. You know me, Josh. Like I'm down with this. It looks exactly like the kind of games that I love from these guys. I think they made a huge step from Dark Souls 2 to Bloodborne. Because like I my history with this is I had trouble playing the original Demon and Dark Souls 2 because they were just kind of slower paced. And and then Bloodborne came out, and like that was my gateway drug into their world. And now I've played Dark Souls 3, love that game. Want to go back and play Dark Souls 2, just haven't had a chance. But seeing this, like this is super fast. Like this moved really fast. I think the only thing that made me kind of like not roll my eyes, but kind of like raise an eyebrow is that I felt like I already had a samurai Dark Souls game. It's called Neo.
Yeah.
And that came out last year. And so like obviously this game's been in development much longer than when that game came out. So like obviously, I don't think they copy them. It just feels like the Deep Impact to Armageddon kind of thing. Like,
So which one's Ants and which one's A Bug's Life? That'll be the question.
Yeah,
that's true. By the way, back to what I was mentioning earlier. Trip Hawkins worked at Apple, and he broke off to create EA off of Apple. Like,
Gotcha.
So I don't know which developer it is or which company it is, but there's a company I heard of that seriously came from like some kind of like produce company, and then they took over and started doing video games. And I'll find that out at a later time. But I'm not crazy. I guess I'm not crazy.
At least not for this reason.
At least for not this reason. but it looked cool. Like I said, it moved super fast. When that dude launched out like that chain or whatever and started and grappling, I was like, looks dope.
It looked a little Arkham-ish when that happened, you know, and I was like, yep, all right, you got me. I'm on board.
All right, Zach, you want to pick the next one?
The next one for me is Halo 6, or Halo, not 6, but was it Infinite?
Infinite.
Yeah. And it's, you know, all you saw was essentially a world that I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if we were seeing like Ark or something, you know, just with the animals and all that type of stuff. But then you get a picture of Master Chief just standing there holding his helmet as he watches some soldiers move forward. And then the last shot is him loading up an AI. You're not sure if it's Cortana or not. And you're also on a Halo world again, which I find very interesting. I can't tell if this is a reboot of Halo, like if they're going to kind of wipe the slate clean. I mean, they have a storyline to finish, you know, they have a storyline to finish here, but I think that it seems more of a return to center to me. Now they need to expand more on the things Halo 5 did exceptionally well with the Forge and with online gameplay modes. And that's the thing that, I mean, that's what bums me out about Halo 5 is the single player was so just kind of blah that people forget how just freaking amazing that multiplayer was. I mean, the modes they introduced and the card system they had and it's just, you go on and on and on, like the level creation and everything else. It was stunning. And the fact that this launches on PC alongside Xbox for the first time will be, I can only imagine, will increase the mods and increase the level creation in the community like tenfold. So I'm very, very, I'm an unabashed Halo fanboy. I admit it. You can all stop accusing me, but I was very excited by what I saw, and I'm ready for more Halo. I want that.
Awesome. Shannon, what about you, man? Anything out of here notable?
I'll tell you, aside from a game that was notable to me, is that Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to be on the Xbox. I thought that was something that was just going to be and always would be PlayStation exclusive. But to see it come out on the Xbox surprised me a lot.
Well, especially in the Microsoft presser. It's kind of like the Shadows Die Twice. I wouldn't have expected to see it there.
Yeah, I kind of wondered if they were starting to steal a lot of PlayStation's thunder, because they really kind of hit home that there was a lot of Japanese RPGs or JRPGs that they were going to start importing. And then, you know, they also around that time also dropped that they were going to have Kingdom Hearts 3. And so I was kind of disappointed. But also, like, it's a great game. I'm looking forward to that game. And if other people can experience it that don't have a PlayStation, you know, by all means, go for it.
That trailer was corny, though.
It was
super corny.
Yeah. You know, I thought, like, oh, are they going to add a musical element of this? Because it's going to kill it. If I have to hear, do you want to build a snowman? Like, I'm going to just be out.
By the way, though, hardcore Disney fans and hardcore Square fans, pretty freaking corny. Just saying, like, as groups, they're pretty corny.
I did like seeing the gummy ships back, though.
I did not. Part. I hated those things. I hated the gummy ships. Yeah, when I saw them, I'm like, oh, not again.
Talking about Kingdom Hearts, I actually think they hit this date. Like, I don't think they gave a date, because I don't think they gave a date unless they knew they were going to be able to hit it.
I agree.
This game, like, just put things in perspective. We've gone through almost 2 console cycles. We've gone through 7 Halo games. We've gone through 5 Gears games. We've gone through 5 Uncharted games since the last true sequel to Kingdom Hearts has come out. They know how much this means. They're going to hit that date.
Well, I don't know. Originally, they said, I could have sworn leading up to this conference, they said 2018, and then, or end of 2018. And then on this conference, they went end of January 2019.
No, they said January 29th. Like, they gave an exact date. That's what I mean by that.
Oh, yeah, okay. And if this game was going to drop this year, it probably would have been like November, December anyway. So it's like one more month. It's not that big of a deal, I think. But I'm just not really a fan of this series, so I'm not interested in this. But that's not to say I won't give it a shot. But
fine, you guys can just go play your Shadows Will Die Twice or whatever the name of that game is. I'll just sit over here in the corner playing Kingdom Hearts 3.
Shannon, I'm with you, buddy. Like,
are you?
Yeah, I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, man. I got the ultimate weapon in both games. I love that series.
Is it love? Is the ultimate weapon love?
Yes, it is.
And hugs.
With that said, my excitement for it is not what it was, and I think just like the excitement wasn't there for Final Fantasy 15.
You're in your mid-30s now.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Actually, I had an argument with this with one of my youth the other day. It's not mid-30s. I'm only 32, so we're gonna say mid-30s is like 35. We're gonna.
All right. Well, you're in your early 30s, not early 20s.
Yes, and I agree with that. I guess I'll go ahead and jump to mine. Mine's kind of twofer, because them acquiring Ninja Theory is a huge deal.
That was a shocker.
Yeah, like that. That was whenever I literally was like, "Oh, what?" Like, and that was the first time in the opening 45 minutes where I was excited about something, because just everything they had shown me prior to that was like, okay. Or I had already seen it. Like Metro Exodus, already seen, super excited for. Like, I'm glad now we have a date for it. But the game that got me super excited, and it's not even exclusive, and I hope that's okay that I'm not picking one, is Dying Light 2.
That game looked awesome. Yeah.
So the first Dying Light is completely underrated. I can't tell people enough. You need to play that game. And
Techland as a developer has really shown some skill when Dying Light came out. Like that was, I thought that was going to be just another Dead. What was that game? Dead Island. I was expecting another one of those, and I was surprised how good that game was. And this one looks dope too. Last year,
Scott and I got to sit behind closed doors with them, and we got to see the new DLC for the first one, and. I remember walking up to them after we were done, and I was like, "So you guys working on a second one yet?" And they're like, "You'll see," in their accent, and their like Russian accent or whatever. And so like it's just cool to see a year later, like this game is real. It's actually pretty deep in development. But like our friend Matt Sattler, he messaged me on Facebook, and he was like, "Is the first one anything like this?" I was like, "Yeah, the first one's very much like that." And so I hope he goes and plays. I hope everybody just goes and gives it a chance. It's so good.
So the day are they keeping the day and nighttime mechanics that they had in the first one? I don't think that. Okay. Yep. So in addition to that, then they're also doing the choice that choice tree skill, like the unique storyline kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, there seems to be more like humans as enemies as well in here than zombies.
Those freaking nighttime zombies.
Really? Oh my god!
the first time you get caught outdoors at nighttime,
it's a horror game. It becomes a straight up horror game at that point,
and it is terrifying. You were so screwed.
Yeah, I'm not a horror game guy. I would just hide inside until the sun came up because I could not handle the pressure. Like it was just too.
Yeah. And that's actually the right move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember getting caught outside, and I just booked it back into like the base, and those things are like running behind me. I'm like, oh.
This is one of those few times where it's okay not to be great. Like just don't try to excel. Just
awesome.
Just wait. Just
revel in mediocrity.
That's right.
Yeah. So next up for me is I was actually pretty impressed with what I saw with Devil May Cry 5.
Yes.
That was surprising.
Yeah. When they first showed it, I thought it was the Dante from the Ninja Theory game. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to piss off so many people. And then I noticed that was Nero. That wasn't Dante. And then they showed Dante at the end. So this is like the true successor to Devil May Cry 4 and by the original creator. And it looked great. Graphics looks really, really sharp. The combat looked like it was a lot of fun. It was kind of corny, but otherwise, like I know this is another game everyone's been asking for, and we finally got. And this is just another example of Capcom firing on all cylinders this generation. They really came back into their own, and I will be shocked if Resident Evil Remake 2 doesn't show up at Sony's conference.
It's almost like if I was a betting man, I'd put money on it.
Yeah, I hope so, because I don't want this E3 to pass without seeing it, because I'm really excited for that.
So one thing I wanted to mention from this press conference that I thought was very interesting, tapping into our service games as service conversation we had during EA, by them rolling The Division and Elder Scrolls Online into Games Pass.
Yeah,
like that's really interesting.
They also got third-party games dropping day one.
Exactly.
In there too. They were indie games. Like one of them was Ashen, the other one was After Party, which is the new game from the Oxenfree developers.
Ashen looks rad.
Yeah, Ashen does look cool. So like, even though they're not like huge AAA games, they're getting other people in third party involved in this as well.
But,
Fallout 4 too.
Yeah, that's today. One. You can get those today.
Yeah, Division, ESO, and Fallout 4 are all today. But Division and Elder Scrolls, that's a big deal. Like that really is a big deal. And those are games with huge followings, with big, people spend a lot of money in those environments, and having Game Pass be a gateway to access those for other companies that's other publisher houses selling their catalogs through Netflix or Hulu or something like that. That's a similar model, and it's very interesting to me. That jumped out as a big step forward as Games Pass as a future model for how games is going to work. I found it very, very cool.
How is that Game Pass going to work with something that has a subscription on it? So you're paying a subscription to play the game, and then you're paying another subscription to...
I don't think there's a subscription anymore with ESO. I think
they removed that.
I think there's tiers. I think there's tiers of access that you can pay for. Not monthly, but just like one fee.
So you buy the disc. And then, like, if you were going to go play ESO right now, you'd go buy the disc from the store and put it in. And from that point, you could do something else. And
and they have microtransactions in the game. And then every expansion, I believe, you have to pay for as well. But
I heard that game's dope now. Like, I
kind of want to check this out now. Now it's on Game Pass.
When I saw it hit on Game Pass, I'm like, I probably should check this out now. Like, I've been so close to starting it up a few times. But MMOs scare the crap out of me because I don't have the time for that. But now the cost is free $99. I'm probably down to give it a shot.
Yeah. What about you, Shannon? Anything else here?
Cyberpunk.
Yes.
I mean, like I'm
so good.
I'm totally down for that. Just from what I saw. I mean, I didn't. Once again, there was no real. I don't think I didn't see any gameplay, which is kind of.
They said that was an engine though.
Was it? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, then I'm hyped. Like, I definitely want to see more of that game. So
don't you remember Witcher 2 though? The Witcher 2 announcement was just like a trailer like that. It was just like a cinematic trailer that it was that one on the ship where you're trying to assassinate. Well, someone's trying to assassinate the king, like, and it was just a gorgeous trailer, and like that was their announcement for Witcher 2. And then a year later, Witcher 2 comes out. Like, there's no way Cyberpunk comes out next year, right?
No, I still think that's a next gen game.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Shannon. That looked dope.
Yeah, that game looked right up my alley, so I'm excited for that one. Robbie, what about you? You're up next, man. I thought you were going to say Jump Force.
No, not actually. No, because I listened to some people who played it after the fact, and they said that game's no bueno.
Yeah, for anyone listening, that's this like anime fighting game where they just basically threw every anime character you can think of into a fighting game.
I don't like 3D fighters like that.
It looked like Budokai. It looked like the Budokai games, how you kind of float around and stuff. Like,
I kind of love the idea of it though. But
I'll say one more positive, and then I do want to kind of talk about the negative of Xbox's conference.
Sure.
But We Happy Few. Actually, no. You know what? Black Desert. Black Desert is the game that I was like, okay, yes, I know it's an MMO, but this looks dope. Like, it looked like it looked like Fable, or it looked like Skyrim, but as
I thought
an
it
MMO.
was Fable at first.
Yeah, me too. And then as they were going through showing the different characters and showing their abilities, I was like, dude, I can be a freaking wizard with a staff, and I can cast some spells. Like, that's really cool to me. So Like I hope that's available on PC because I want to try it. But yeah, that was probably like there were a couple of things that jumped out, but like that was the one where I was like, hey, you know what? That looks kind of cool. So
cool. Now, I do want to mention Forza Horizon 4 because they announced this, and this game really spoke to me. The big difference here is that it has a seasonal system now, and everyone who's playing, who's connected, the seasons sync automatically to every player, and that's really cool. It takes place in like this like Britain countryside. It looked very New Englandish to me at first, and then I was confirmed that was Britain. They now have it to where every time you see a car driving on the road, that is a real person. It's no longer a gamer tag floating over an AI controlled car. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They have like a chat system now where you can park beside someone and pull up a little chat and start talking to them and make friends and race with them and stuff. Like all this stuff looks. They had motorcycles in there too. I saw, and I'm just like, man, I'm ready for some more Forza Horizon. Like everything they were showing, it just looked like a significantly better version of Forza Horizon 3. So I'm sold on this one. I'm definitely buying it, but it's on Game Pass day one, so I will probably just keep Game Pass and play it that way. But yeah, I'm pumped for this game. It looks awesome.
Yeah, Forza Horizon 3 is still the main reason I own my Xbox, so I'm guessing 4 is going to be more of the same.
I just hope they nail the last race because the one in Forza Horizon 3 was not a very climactic finish to that game.
I honestly didn't realize it was the last race.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And it was like, great, you beat Forza, right? Wait, what? I did, huh? Oh, okay, thanks. Like, yay.
Yeah.
I didn't even race particularly well in that last race, and I still beat it. And I was just like, well, that's really kind of, I'm a crappy racer, and I still won.
Yeah.
All right. So guys, we need to talk about Gears Pop.
Yeah, so I think it's funny how they opened with that one. Like it was going, like they knew that was going to piss people off.
Oh well, yeah, they got that the hell out of the way. Like that was.
Yeah.
So here's this
game.
thing. Yeah, here's this thing for mobile. It's Gears, and those pop things that you hate but you always buy for some reason. We made a game out of it. Anyway, moving on. Here's Gears Tactics. Like that was it. By the way, Gears Tactics. Let's throw that out there too. Like, what are we doing? Come on.
XCOM with Gears. Like that's okay.
Which okay. I'm all right with that. Like, sure, but just why? Just come on.
Milking the franchise, man. But they did show Gears 5.
Yeah. Which I liked the trailer because I totally forgot what happened in Gears 4.
So did I. I couldn't even remember the name of Marcus Phoenix's son.
Nope. Don't have it.
I just remember I don't like him. Like I didn't like that character at all.
And then the girl at the end with the neck. Sure. Yeah, I don't. Okay.
I think it's cool that they have a female protagonist though, because this game was always like marketed as like some macho, dude bro game.
Yeah.
And now they have a female protagonist. So I think that's kind of cool. But other than that, it looks like more Gears of War.
She needs a do-rag though.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to blow through the rest of these real quick so we can move on. And I'm going to let Robby rant about his anti-Microsoft stuff here. So they announced Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which
looks amazing.
Yeah, that looked great.
Art style is gorgeous. They showed a very brief trailer of Fallout 76. We'll get to that later. That comes out.
Will of Wisp, a sequel to the game of the year, Ori and the Blind Forest.
The one that Robby really fought us on. Yes.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so fought on.
Yeah. So they also announced the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit, which is a Life is Strange universe game that's going to be free on June.
Tell me that didn't look like a Sundance Festival movie.
Yeah, it kind of did. And apparently it's going to be like a game that's technically free that's going to be announcing Life is Strange 2. Apparently that's the whole point of it. So it's sort of like, what was that game?
No one buying that shit. So.
Yeah, it's pretty much like PT. You download the game for free and you play it and it secretly announces a game. Apparently that's what that is. Crackdown 3 showed a trailer. Lots of Terry Crews comes out next
Still looks
year.
like crap.
I was disappointed.
I will say this though, as far as someone that had played Crackdown 3 last year to seeing gameplay footage this year, there was a lot of more effects around the weapons, landing, the cars themselves. Everything looked a lot smoother and way more polished. So it looks like they've been spending their time doing good things.
Yeah,
it didn't look like a 360 game this time. Where there were definitely times I was having fun playing it, but that shit looked like a 360 game. So
I still think they've been developing this game for how long now? Like at least 4 years, 5 years. Like they needed to get their shit together and get this game out this year because I think Xbox really needed this game this year.
Yeah. It still doesn't look great. I mean, like it looks better. It still doesn't look great though.
I think it looks all right.
No, like for how long it's been in development for having a console like the Xbox One X out, like. Like it doesn't super impress. I think that's more or less what I mean by that.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. So they announced Nier Automata. There's a Become as Gods edition, which is basically just Nier Automata with all of the DLC. That's coming to Xbox. That's coming this month. Metro Exodus they showed off, comes next year. Looks great. Sea of Thieves updates. They have 2 updates coming out for that game, which look okay. They didn't really show a whole lot of it though, just kind of brief trailers. They showed a CG trailer of Battlefield 5 story mode, but no gameplay, and that was it. They showed off We Happy Few. They showed off PUBG updates. It looks like they're trying to finish the game for Xbox by winter 2018. That game is still
damning
rough.
Sentence, even though it's accurate. That's like such a. But yes.
Yeah, that game's still rough on Xbox. They have a Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition coming out.
That was cool. That was a cool announcement.
Yeah, that was a good game. Division 2 they showed off, which looks like more the same to me, but in Washington, D.C. They had an ID at Xbox montage with a bunch of indie games, nothing too notable.
Below was not shown.
Yeah.
Good call. Yeah.
Super disappointing. That game's never coming out.
They showed off Shadow the Tomb Raider, which looked kind of cartoony to me. I don't know, but it's more Tomb Raider. I'm probably sold. Session, which is the Skate 4 everyone was asking for, but apparently from what I've heard from people who have played it, it's not very good and it controls like ass, so we'll see how that goes. They had Cuphead DLC coming next year.
I'll buy it.
Yep, they had some little Fox adventure game. It looked like Zelda. I forgot the name of it, so I apologize. They announced Battletoads 2019. Didn't show anything, just a very quick little teaser. So that's another game everyone's been asking for, but people didn't realize those games sucked. Just Cause 4 was announced, and that was leaked already, and that's coming out this December. And they also announced that they're having game streaming coming to multiple devices like iPads and phones and stuff like that. They're trying to get that to work. And then they also dropped it that they're working on a new console, which we already pretty much knew anyway.
I thought it was really weird that they didn't end it with Gears 5.
Yeah, that would have made sense to me.
Like
they ended it with Cyberpunk.
Why was Just Cause? Like, I mean, well, there was Cyberpunk. That's true, but like,
Cyberpunk's not exclusive.
Yeah, it's not. So
that's the second year in a row where they finished with a non-exclusive game. Last year they finished with Anthem. This year they finished with Cyberpunk. Josh, may I be unleashed?
So here's the thing. Before I unleash the Robby. Here's the thing that I noticed about this whole big list. Yeah, all these games look awesome, and there's a lot of really good stuff here. 90% of it's 2019. What the hell are we still going to play this year on an Xbox? Robby, go ahead.
What in the world? Like, okay, let me not start off that way. Microsoft had a very fun and entertaining conference. Like it was very entertaining. Like the conference itself with boom, 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 trailers, like that was awesome. The showmanship was great. I have no problem or qualms with any of that. I have ample problems with the fact that not one game did they show me that said, you know what, I need to have an Xbox One X or I need to have an Xbox. Again, not a single exclusive except for We Happy Few and Forza is coming out this year. Not one console seller is coming out this year again for the second year in a row. Not one. And I'm sorry, Xbox, but you need to quit using the word exclusive for games that aren't exclusive to your console. They used exclusive for Just Cause, for Anthem, and for another one that's a third-party game that's coming to other consoles. So stop using the word exclusive.
Yeah, they kept saying console launch exclusive.
Yes, like what in the world?
That means that it might come to them first, but it's going to be on other consoles eventually. Is the thing that I got from that.
And that doesn't. And I wonder if that's like the whole pre-order it, play it 3 days early thing, like on Friday kind of thing, something like that. You know, like they use semantics to use these big words that don't mean anything, and yet they're still not showing me games that sell their console. And Zach, you made a really good point. The games that I want to play that they're making, I can play them on my PC. So
which is why you don't care.
Yes,
know?
And that's absolutely right. But my response is valid, I believe. I want to want their console.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And I don't want their console. Like, I don't need their console. There's nothing out there that makes me want to play their console. And that's my ultimate problem. You could call me a Sony fanboy all you want, but I'm just pointing out the fact the only thing that made me throw my fist in the air for Microsoft was them buying Ninja Theory. Like, that's the only thing that made me like, yes, like the more money coming their way, like, let them do awesome stuff. But every other game that I got excited about, I can play on my PS4
or your PC
or my PC. And I just think we're still in the same problem. Like, I don't.
Yeah. I think I think going into next year, they're going to be in a better position. But going into this year, like my prediction said, it's the same thing. We're going to have Forza this holiday season, and that's about it. Everything else, they're hoping that people are going to buy an Xbox One X so they can play the best possible version of multi-platform games. And that's what sold me on it, but I'm not everyone. I'm not the average consumer. I'm a hardcore gaming nerd. And of course that appeals to me, but that's not going to appeal to everyone else. So I think that this year we're still bone dry on exclusive games, but it'll probably fix itself next year with stuff like Halo and Gears and all that jazz and
but
whatever
that's a
else
series that they've had for 2 consoles.
No,
like that's another thing. Like you
also but see, okay, this is an argument that I don't understand. Like Halo and Gears and but like those games have been around forever. Yeah, they have, and they sell great every single time. Like, and you know what? Gears 4 was the worst one of the whole entry. It was still a great game. It just wasn't up to the standards of the old ones, and it's one of those like, yeah, I understand the frustration level, but like, what are they supposed to do? Stop making the best games that they make?
No,
like,
just
that's not an answer either.
Give me new IP, give me new stories, give me new games,
and the thing. Well, a Battleship.
Where's the horizon? Where's their horizon?
The thing about a Battleship is by the time you've turned around, you're already over the horizon. That's why that's why battleships don't turn around for people that fall off the deck.
I meant Horizon the game. I meant Zero Dawn.
But you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
So they announced today they bought 4 independent studios.
And that's awesome.
They needed people to make games because they stopped paying people to make games somewhere along the way. And yeah, it's gonna take time to kind of refill all those coffers and get that ship going in the right direction again. Like this, it doesn't happen overnight. And honestly, the big question, what have they been doing for the last 3 or 4 years? They've been cleaning up the mess. I want the book. I want the book of the original Xbox One launch, and everything, because they bet so hard on the TV side of the Xbox. Like that's where they put all their chips. They went in the taking over the living room side of it, and they shoved all in and lost hard. Like they misread that room so bad,
and they made it so expensive. They made that console so expensive,
and it's taken them 5 years to fix it. Like they stopped making games because we don't need them. We're whatever. We're going to take over the living room. Look how many 360s we've sold. We don't need them. It's like they learned zero hubris from Sony's PS3 launch debacle.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off. You're not wrong. You're right. But I guess when I see them making all these changes, like let's do Game Pass, let's do back compat, let's do all these quality of life things to our console. You're doing all these things, but what's making me want to buy your console? And you're right. Like they have been trying to fix the problem. And look, buying Ninja Theory, I'm down. After playing Hellblade, like I will buy any game they make, especially if it's narrative driven. So like I'm down for that. And he even said, we went after these companies because they are story writing developers. Like, I'm down for that. So hey, we may get the games that I'm talking about, but to sit here like some people have and say like Xbox is back on the map, Xbox is no longer the little brother to Sony in this generation, like I don't see that at all. Like like they're still, I mean, worldwide they're still losing 3-1 in sales of their consoles. Like, and so I just don't want to crown Microsoft for doing some incredible thing, fixing their console problem when they have it. Did they have a great conference? Absolutely. It was awesome. It was so fun to watch. It was entertaining. I was going to play Fortnite while watching it, and then I died twice because I was paying attention to the conference. So I just stopped playing and I just watched the rest of the conference. It was enjoyable. But like, I don't want their console. I think that's my problem.
Well, so here's the thing. And this is going to be a damning statement for multiple companies. The Xbox One X right now is Microsoft's Wii U. It is. They released it. They misread the room. They're not selling. They don't know what they're doing with it, really. They figured it out. And by the time they figured it out, they're going to move on from it. So here's the thing, Robby. You're right. There isn't a thing out there right now to make you buy that console. And I think Microsoft is okay with that. Yes. They want you to buy the next one.
And they want me to buy their game. Like they want me to buy the game on PC.
Exactly. Like, so they are fine with you as your consumer buying your game on PC if you're going to play it and waiting for the next console. I think they've accepted it as a company now. And I think what you're seeing is them lining up everything to make sure their next launch is very successful. And I think they're just kind of okay with the Xbox being what it is.
Yeah, because a lot of companies will sell a console at a loss and make that money back up with software sales. If they're not going to sell the console, they might as well at least sell you the software and give it to you on PC as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, I agree with Robby. Like, even though I already own an Xbox One X, so they already got my ass. But there was a lot of awesome stuff here, and it was a great conference. But I'm still not confident in my $500 purchase of that Xbox One X. There's still not a lot of exclusives there for me. I'm going to play the hell out of Forza Horizon 4. Yes, I'll play Halo and Gears and stuff, but that's all next year. Like the only reason I'm going to turn on my Xbox One X this year is for Forza and to play whatever multi-platform game that's going to be like native 4K. That's going to be better than the PlayStation 4 Pro version. That's where I'm going to be.
And that's also the unseen benefit for Microsoft of having games like Ashen be part of Game Pass, because you know what? You'll turn it on to play Ashen. I will, and it's things like that. And they need reasons for you to actually engage with the service. And that's what they lost over the last couple of years.
I guess it just feels counterintuitive. Like I would rather them have the games and then offer Game Pass. But that's a consumer mindset. Like I'm not in the room with him where he's having to answer to Bill Gates or whoever he has to answer to about everything that's gone wrong for them. I've given kudos to them over 2 or 3 years with you guys over what they've been trying to do to correct. I wanted more. Like, and it's not like I wanted more games. I just wanted more true exclusives. And you know what? I wanted some game that no one knew about to come out this year to say, for Josh to sit here and say, man, I can't freaking wait to play that game. But there isn't that. And
I am very surprised at that too. I thought they were going to announce a huge game that will drop this fall that will make us all, cheer, and we didn't really get that.
I also thought that was going to be just Tomb Raider. Like I thought it was going to be
exclusive again.
Yeah, it's Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is now an exclusive, and it comes out in November, and you can only play it on Xbox One X. Like that's where I honestly thought that's what it was going to be, but. Oh, well.
All right. Shannon, do you have anything you want to add before we move on to Bethesda?
No, nothing at all.
Okay.
Sorry, Shannon.
No, that's fine. It's cool.
All right, so Bethesda was the last one of the evening, and so we're going to go ahead and start with this one. This one wasn't too long, but it was quite packed full of stuff.
Hour and a half. That was.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like an hour and a half.
No, it didn't. And they ran through the first half of it relatively quick, and then they got to one part, and then it just kept going on and on and on. So we'll get to that. So first, they started off with a pretty cool employee montage, just showing love to all the people that work at Bethesda, from the secretaries to the people that cook them the food. Like, I thought that was pretty awesome. And then they showed
a montage.
Yeah. Then they showed Rage 2. And they had Andrew WK come out.
Oh my god, that was so awesome.
The most awkward performance of all time.
And the entire audience just stood there looking confused, and many of them were snickering that Andrew WK popped up, and that was really, really funny. And
I mean, we're barely humoring him at all. Like, every time they cut to the audience, it was just people rolling their eyes, like their watches.
And he was so high energy, and the crowd was so low energy that it's like one of those videos where, like, you got the hype man in the middle doing nothing, and then everybody else is going nuts around him, so it makes him seem even more like imposing. This was like the exact opposite. You had like one dude just like going nuts, and everybody else was just so like lethargic. I felt bad for him. That had to be one of the hardest rooms for him to play in.
I forgot the name of the guy, but there's a YouTuber that every year at E3 they make an E3 montage where they make fun of the blunders of E3. That will definitely be the highlight of that video this year.
That's great.
It was really, I remember we were like texting while this was going on. We're just like, what is going on here? These people are just look confused. But Rage 2 looks awesome. Like, I'm super pumped for that game. Again, I love the first one, and this looks
never play the first one. Super excited for this one. Like,
yeah, the first one was a ton of fun, but people seem to dislike it. I don't know why. I thought it was great.
It moved fast. Did anybody else notice that? It reminded me of Doom with how fast it was moving.
Well, the first one was made by id Software, and that was the highlight of that game. Was the gunplay and the combat was so awesome. And it looks like this is going to retain that. And if they can nail that like they did in the first one, this game's going to be great. So I'm super pumped for this one.
Yeah, it looked like the perfect mix to me of Borderlands and BioShock. And I'm like, yep, all right, let's do that. I'm on board.
Yep. I'm bummed that's not coming out this year, but that is coming out next year.
Like
they
February,
announced,
right?
Yeah, it's early next year, so that's good. Elder Scrolls Legends is coming to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. So I don't care about that. I don't like card games, but for anyone who does, that is coming to consoles. So that's there for you.
I'm a former Magic junkie. I'll try it. You know?
Might be good on Switch. Just have it in your pocket. Might keep it in your pocket, but you know what I mean. Anyways, Elder Scrolls Online Summer Set. They showed that off, had a trailer, and then they announced some other. So. Yeah, that's out right now. They have some other expansion coming out. They announced a sequel to Doom, which I was not expecting. Doom Eternal is the name of it, and they're going to show it off at QuakeCon. They just
which is smart.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be Hell on Earth. So this kind of looks like a remake of Doom 2 in a way.
Dude, whenever I saw the traffic light, I was like, and then I saw Homeboy, the skeleton with the rocket.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, buddy, is this Doom 2? And then the way they were talking, I was like, oh my gosh, is this gonna be like some kind of like battle royale kind of thing, or is this gonna be you know, like I was like, oh no, what is this? And then they were like, no, this is a true sequel. I was like, yes, give me that metal music and just gratuitous violence. Like, that's all I want.
Kills. Let's make it happen. Let's do this.
Yes.
Twice as many monsters. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep, and they said that it's coming out, I believe, next year as well. This was
surprising.
Yeah, this was my 2016 game of the year, the original, the last Doom. So I'm down for more of this. I am disappointed that it's not Quake. I would have rather had a new Quake game, because I still think it's kind of soon for a Doom sequel, but I will take it regardless because that game was so awesome. So I'm down. They showed off Quake Champions. They had some updates for that. Apparently you can download it now and play it for free. I always thought it was free, so I don't know where that came from. I thought it was always free, but they said that if you do download it now and play it this week, that you can keep it, I guess. So that's cool. They got some more updates to that. I have played that game a little bit. It does feel pretty much like Quake 3 Arena. So if you like that game and you haven't played this, check it out. It seems to be pretty fun. They had a Prey update, which they had an update called Moon Crash, and they have 3 new game modes, plus a new game plus, a story mode, a survival mode, all kinds of stuff that is available now.
That was
and they're
weird.
also, yeah.
Like,
they all, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just want to say, like, of all the games to like continue to support, like I just wouldn't have expected Prey. Like it's almost like if Ubisoft, or I'm sorry, someone's like if Square tells us tomorrow that it's gonna give us DLC for Ex Machina or Deus Ex.
Yeah,
like it just that it just came out of nowhere. I didn't expect this to happen.
Yeah, and they also announced a Typhon Hunter multiplayer mode where you play with friends, and the people you're playing against actually are the little Typhon creatures, and they can transform into objects and hide and pop out at you.
Which is cool.
Yeah. So they showed a lot of this stuff off, and I mean, yeah, if you liked Prey, a lot of people really liked that game. I was not one of them.
Me either.
I did not care. I thought I probably should have played the game on PC because apparently the PC version is significantly better. But what I played of it on PS4, I thought it was sluggish and not very fun, and I just didn't care for it. I got maybe halfway through it and gave up. So yeah, if you're into Prey, there's more content there for you. They also announced, which was a big surprise for me, is Wolfenstein Youngblood, which comes out.
That almost seemed like a joke when they were first announcing it.
Yeah.
Like, here's a shooter with BJ's twin daughters, ha ha ha, and everyone was like, "Yeah, okay, what is it really? Oh, it is that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like this. Yeah. It didn't make any sense either. Like, is this our technical Wolfenstein 3?
Yeah.
Like because it takes place in the 80s, it takes place a significant time ahead in the future. Like, does that mean BJ lost? Like, it's just weird because they're connecting the timeline and there's still a 3, and after 2 it looks like, hey, we're about to win this thing, and so they're in the 80s and they're fighting Nazis again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just seems weird. So like I just want more clarity. Is this like a Fallout? Is this like a Fallout New Vegas, or is this a true Wolfenstein 3?
Is it canon?
I took it as Wolfenstein 2's The Old Blood. That's kind of what I thought of it. You know what?
Okay, I can dig that.
I don't know if that's true. That's just the assumption I got from it. You know how they released The Old Blood like a year later, even though this is like 2 years later. But I don't know. I mean, they said it was a co-op game, so 2 people can play as each daughter, and yeah, so we got more Wolfenstein coming.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool too, because one of them was a sniper and the other one looked like it was more of like a up close and personal, like assault type. So if they do split them out into 2 classes, it would be fun.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they'll show more of that at QuakeCon. I don't know. Or maybe that's really early in development. I have no idea. They also announced that some Prey modes are coming to VR. And they also have a Wolfenstein game coming to VR as well called Wolfenstein Cyberpilot. They did make an emphasis that it was PC VR, though, so I don't think any of this is coming to PlayStation VR. So just a heads up on that. So at this point of the show, Todd Howard walks on the stage looking like a nerdy-ass Tom Cruise. And he pretty much commanded the show for the rest of the
I love him.
Yeah,
I love Todd Howard.
Say what you want, but he had probably the best stage presence out of everybody I've seen.
He did, but he tried to throw out a little stand-up comedy routine out there that was kind of cringy.
He made me chuckle a couple times.
Yeah, I love that Skyrim on Alexa bit. Like I thought that was hilarious.
That didn't do anything for me, but I get the joke, and I'm sure people liked it, but I didn't really find it funny. But anyway, so this is the point where Todd Howard comes up.
You didn't find it funny because you were trying to pre-order it. You're like, how can I get that on my Alexa?
So he comes off with Fallout 76, and this is where we'll start here. So Kotaku was correct. This is an online game. It looks like it's still a traditional Fallout game, but the world is populated not by NPCs but other players. And they tried to sell this as like a very unique experience, but it's sort of like a survival game in a way, like a DayZ sort of thing, but maybe very light on the hardcore aspects of it. It looks like To me, it looks like an online expansion to Fallout 4, but it takes place in West Virginia. And I'm not really sold on this. I'm not a big Fallout guy to begin with, so that's going against me. But what did you guys think of this? Because when I saw him showcase this game off, the first thing that came into my mind is when I'm playing this, I'm just going to get griefed by people online the whole time.
Yeah, I was. I'm excited. I like the fact that even though it's online, you're probably only going to be limited to maybe having 12 people running around in your proximity or close to you, so it's not going to feel like one of those massive like Royal Rumble type games. Also, I liked I laughed when I saw that you could infiltrate nuclear sites and send nuclear missiles towards like other encampments or silo or other locations that you wanted to just to decimate if they were giving you some grief. So that was something that was intriguing. That was something that I was interested in. So I mean, all in all, I was excited for it. I want to play that game. So I'm on board. I'm in.
That's coming out this year too, November.
Yeah, November.
Yeah. What do you think, Robbie?
So I found Fallout 4 to be wildly disappointing.
So did I.
Just because it felt like Fallout 3 with just better building, with building stuff. So I was really disappointed. When this leaked, I said to my buddies, like, I just don't know if I care about this, because it just felt like Fallout New Vegas. Like, that's just what it seemed like it was going to be, like just a mid-tier game, even though Fallout New Vegas is actually really good. With that said, the more he showed me, the more I was like, you know what? I could see me playing that. Like, I could see myself digging into that. The fact that he made it very clear you can play it by yourself. The fact that, it's a game. Like, decisions are made. It seems like a Fallout game, and it almost is kind of like an MMO to a certain degree. Like, it kind of seems like that. But I will probably try it out. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I probably will try it out after hearing him talk about it. But there was just something I noticed about the cadence in which he talked about this game, and I want to see if you guys noticed it too. Like, 3 different times while talking about this game, he made reference to, we've never done anything like this before. You guys don't understand what we're trying to really portray here. Like, it just seems like they're doing a lot more, and they could not show it all in just one little time slot in this conference. Did y'all notice that he kept mentioning that kind of stuff?
Yeah, they kind of need you to experience it before you judge it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
they did emphasize that they have a beta coming out, so I think this is the make or break moment for me. Like, I am very interested in checking out the beta and seeing what the game's all about before I decide if it's for me or not.
And that's fair. I'm not saying like, oh man, I'm gung ho about it. I'm just saying they sold me on it when I was expecting to just ignore it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they definitely got the message out that it wasn't just more of the same, which for me is intriguing, because I was in the camp of like, I'm kind of burned out on Fallout. Like, I'm okay not playing Fallout for a while. So yeah, but I like the world. I like the setting. Like, I like the idea that it's like the first vault that opens up after the attack, and you're out there trying to figure out what is salvageable and what you can rebuild and all that. The idea of it is cool. So but as Josh says, it's going to be in the execution. It's really how it's going to be for me.
What about the size? Does the size put you off at all? Like the fact that it's 4 times bigger than Fallout 4?
That means nothing to me.
Yeah,
that's arbitrary to me.
It's going to be what is there to do with that size? Like, what's going on in that map? Like, just having a big map doesn't really matter if there's nothing to do on it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. All right, moving on. They announced that Fallout Shelter was coming to PS4 and Nintendo Switch. So if you want to play them there you go.
Yawn.
I thought that game was okay. I played it on my phone for a bit.
Yeah.
3 years ago. Sure.
Yeah. Elder Scrolls Blades was announced for iOS, which was probably the most interesting thing that I saw here other than Doom. This
apparently they thought so too.
Yeah.
Man.
This is a full-blown Elder Scrolls game on a smartphone, and apparently it's going to be coming to consoles and PC and everything, and even VR, they said, and it's going to be cross-compatible between all those devices. And they showed it off, and it looked quite impressive. Anyone interested in this?
No.
Okay. Why not?
I mean, despite the fact that they were excited about, this being in development for a long time, it still seemed rough. Just graphically from what I've seen on or my iPhone 10, like just what I've been able to see it do or the tablets, like it just still seemed like it was an outdated graphic set that they were using. Like it just didn't seem like a new type of game. And then the movement mechanics with the attack mechanics, with just the swiping that I was seeing, like just the way that it seemed like there was a bit of a disconnect between the motions that the user was actually trying to accomplish and what was actually happening on the screen. It seemed basic. It seemed it just didn't seem like a very polished game to me. It's nothing I haven't already seen, so it just didn't seem exciting.
It kind of felt like an open world RPG, and then when you see an enemy, it turns into Infinity Blade.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're swiping all around the attack and everything. But I don't know, man. I'm willing to give this one a shot. I mean, they said it's free, so I mean, but I'm sure there'll be microtransactions. But I don't know, looks kind of cool.
Yeah, a certain amount of stamina you have, like moves you can go through for the dungeon.
yeah, I'm not sure. So I'm sure that some of that will be baked in at some capacity, especially if it's free.
Mm-hmm.
So they closed the show off with 2 big announcements, and they said that these are next gen experiences. So I don't think
we don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm assuming that means there's going to be for the next consoles, but who knows? Starfield is a game that they've been teasing for a while. That's been in development. This is some kind of big space exploration game or something, or an RPG or something. I'm not really quite sure. They didn't really tell us what it was. They just kind of showed off a little teaser, and that was it. And then they dropped the big bomb at the end that they are indeed making Elder Scrolls 6. So this is where the next gen thing comes in, like Robbie's saying. Does that mean this is the next gen Elder Scrolls, or does this mean this is a next gen game, period?
I take it as it's next gen for them. Like not it's not a new console, it's next gen of their their engine of this console cycle. Like this is gonna be, because there hasn't been a Skyrim for this console. So, or an Elder Scrolls for this console. So, like that's what I took it as. They have been in a habit of not announcing games until they are actually like within the realm of the game coming out.
Yeah,
I would almost bet money that next year we get a full playthrough of Starfield and it comes out next November, and the following year would be Elder Scrolls. And that's like the last game to end the console era, like the PS4 era. Like
I kind of agree with you, but I think Elder Scrolls is launch title on the PS,
and
whatever the next.
It'll be Duo. Watch, it'll be Duo.
Yeah.
Like it'll release on both.
Sure.
Yeah. So overall, how do you guys think about Bethesda?
I loved it. Like I really did. That they showed us games that are coming out this year. They showed us games that are coming out next year. And they showed us games to look forward to. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, when we're just talking about publishers, like that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to get us excited. They're supposed to show us new things. They definitely showed us new things with Doom Eternal and the Rage 2. The fact that in Rage 2 Rage 2 is not coming out this year. Which one's the one that's coming? Fallout 76. The fact that Fallout 76 is coming out this year, it just continues to show me that Bethesda doesn't show their games until they're ready. And even though there's jank in every game they make, like it's still an adorable jank and a jank that we overlook.
Yeah, they got that Rockstar thing where it's just like you just are like, oh, look at them. It's more of that, where for some reason they get away with it,
Yeah. Chris Cornell can't hit the high notes anymore, but he still has a good voice.
Yeah.
Like we allow it.
He doesn't have much of one anymore.
No, not at all. But no, it's my conference. Like for doing what they're supposed to do, it's my favorite conference yet. Just because, like I said, they gave me games that I care about now to play, games I look forward to next year, and games to look forward to. Like they announced Elder Scrolls 6. Like even though we know in the back of our minds it's getting made, I'm just excited that they officially addressed it and said, "Hey, this game's getting made."
They actually acknowledged it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think overall it went well. I liked it a lot, but probably the best conference, I guess, presentation I've watched so far. There's by far the most amount of games I've wanted to play have come out of this out of this presentation. So I left with high hopes. I left excited, and I'm looking forward to playing Doom again soon. Zach.
Yeah. More Wolfenstein, more Doom. You can't go wrong there. That's two heavy hitters that I'm definitely in for. I think Microsoft had a better conference though. If I'm just stacking the two up against each other, I think, but one's short term and one's long game, and Microsoft's is a better long term output. But man, this Bethesda conference, it had some cool stuff. And even going in as so far as to I know we kind of poo-pooed it here, but the card games and stuff like that, that's a lot of things that a lot of people are going to play. People get into those card games. I mean, hell, look at they broke out the Witcher one into its own thing that actually was kind of successful just because people played so much of that damn game in Witcher. It's pretty impressive. And they go out of there. We're tapping into what Robby said about EA. Bethesda's figured out how to appeal to fans and appeal to their shareholders at the same time. Like they play on hearts and minds, but also, like those little card games, make things out there that'll make their shareholders lots of money. And they figured out how to straddle both lines, So that's kind of where I would wrap up with them is I think Bethesda is kind of they're the best one at figuring out how to play both hands.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah. For me, they announced some really good stuff. Nothing that made me jump out of my seat. A lot of it I felt like was kind of expected. But otherwise, I think it was good stuff. Certainly better than EA. And just the fact that my Game of the Year 2016 is getting a sequel is pretty exciting. So, I think they did. They had a good show.
Do we expect to see anything of this quality from Ubi or Square?
No.
I would say no, but then I didn't expect anything from Ubi last year.
I think Ubi already showed us a lot of what they have.
Yeah.
I think Square has a chance too, because
especially if they dropped that Final Fantasy VII.
Well, that and the Avengers game, that we have not seen. We don't know what that is.
That's a good call. Yeah.
I think Square. I think just because Sony's already kind of told us what's coming, I'm probably most excited tomorrow or moving forward with Square, because I want to see what some of these games are. I want to know what this is. Show me some more gameplay of Lara Croft, the Lara Croft game, and but Ubisoft could win me over hands down, or actually, well, nothing's going to overcome the Marvel game, but Ubisoft could win me over if they just show me freaking Sam Fisher. Just give me that game.
Yeah, and that has to be there, right? I mean, they've been rumoring. There's been a rumor forever.
Yeah, especially with Homeboy coming back, Ironside coming back they don't put in that DLC for Division or for Wildlands if that game isn't getting announced tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Totally.
I think it's been a good conference so far. I don't think any EA was a little disappointing, but the other two soared with flying colors. Did really well.
Yeah. So what are we going to see for Sony? Because I feel like most of the stuff I was expecting to be at Sony was here at Microsoft. So is Sony really just going to focus on those 4 major games and that's it? Or are we going to get some big major announcements? Like, I don't know.
I think who was it? I think it was Jeff Keighley that came out and said, like, yes, they're showing these. They're going to focus on these 4 games, but there will be other announcements. But like these are going to be the 4 cornerstones. And for that, like, I'm sorry, but y'all know how much of a Kojima fan I am. So like, give me 15 minutes of Kojima all day. I'll take it. But like,
do you think they'll show gameplay of that though?
They have to. They're not going to wait. There's no way they're going to let a whole section of the conference be to Death Stranding and not show gameplay.
That's a good point. That's a really
like there's just no way. And just like I told my buddy yesterday, I don't believe they would waste a slot like that if that game isn't closer to being ready than we think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just no way. And for Sony, so like here's the thing though. Sony's winning. Sony has been blowing out of the park for the last 2 years. They've still got Spider-Man coming out this year as another exclusive. They don't really have to do anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're the only one that didn't have really anything to prove.
Yeah.
They just got to keep doing what they're doing and then worry about a next gen. So, yeah, no, I agree. I'm not expecting a super great conference out of Sony. I think it's going to be, I don't think there's going to be any major announcements. I hope there are. But I think that the seeing Death Stranding in action is really exciting. And I think that seeing Last of Us in action is going to be really exciting too. So we'll see what we get tomorrow with them.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, we'll wrap this up because we have been recording forever. So
and my laptop's about to die. So yes.
Yeah. So now you guys see why we decided to split this into 2 episodes. So let's go ahead and close it. So Twitter plugs. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at That Pixel Life. You can follow me at JD Falky. You can follow Zach at Zackle, Shannon at SHMore0317. If you want to follow Elena, she is Honey Baked Hella, and then Robbie is Spider Dude 64 still, I believe.
Very good, sir. Yes.
So you can follow Robbie on Twitter. Robbie, do you want to plug your podcast one more time before we head out of here?
Yes, please. It is Back to the Basics Sports Podcast. I think it's B2B on Twitter. We're recording episodes 2 and 3 this week. We're really excited about what's to come. If you enjoy hearing me be passionate about video games, just wait until you hear me argue quarterbacks in the Pac-12. It goes beyond my video game passions. I do just need to take a second. Just, you know how much I love you too. Thank you so much for letting me do this with you guys.
Yeah, anytime, man. Doors always open.
I really did enjoy this. I don't enjoy that I'm going to bed at 1:30, but I enjoyed I enjoyed talking about this stuff with you guys. You know how much I enjoy it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely great to just BS about games again. It's been too damn long since we've had that opportunity.
And I do love you too, Shannon.
No, thank you. You're my Great White Buffalo.
That's right.
So don't forget to drop us some reviews on iTunes. Drop Robbie some reviews on iTunes as well for Back to the Basics podcast. DM us on Twitter if you guys have any requests or any feedback you want to give us, anything like that. And also spread the love by giving the show to your friends and loved ones and letting them check it out. And hopefully they will enjoy it as well and give us some feedback also. So that'll be it for this episode. We'll be back Wednesday, or actually Thursday, like we normally are. We'll have the second half of this E3 extravaganza to talk about. And so hopefully that one won't run quite as long as this one, but there's no promises because once we get started, it's hard for us to stop. So thank you guys for listening this week. Thank you again for Robbie for popping on this week as well. I know the fans of the show are going to be really happy that you're here, and hopefully this won't be the last time we hear from you on the show as well. Absolutely. So that is all for us this week. I'm sorry, for now. We'll be back here in a few days for the other half of the E3 stuff, and so that'll be it. We'll see you guys next time.
I'm going to go play Skyrim on my fridge.
Oh, yeah. Alexa. No.